As many of you are aware, we've got a podcast called Many Happy Returns, and my co-host Michael will be joining me today to talk about the takeover of Twitter by Elon Musk. So, Michael, what do you make of it?
Well, I would call it a potential takeover is the first thing. So what I was looking at is where is the stock price versus where is the takeover price. And he offered, I believe, 54.20. Lol.
That's an interesting price. Well, I wonder why he chose that.
I'm surprised you even know what that means, Rob.
I did have to Google it. I did. Anyway.
I couldn't say I'm a clean liver. But so there's basically a spread. So the current stock price is just over $49 when we're recording this video. And the offer, as we said, is $54.20. So it's about 10% lower, which would imply there's quite a significant chance that this deal doesn't go through.
And in fact, you can actually back out the probability of the takeover, a kind of implied probability. So if you know what the kind of failure of the deal going through price would be, someone else has done it, and they said it was $39.
Right. So that's kind of where it would snap back to.
Exactly. So if it falls through down to 39, just under $40, the actual offer is obviously 54. And if the price is kind of close to the offer price, you know the probability is high of a success. If it's close to the breakup price, you know it's very low. And the actual price is about 35% from the takeover, you know, relative to that range. So that means that the probability of it not happening is 35%.
So one third to 2/3.
Yeah, about 2/3 probability of success.
I know maths, Ramin.
Oh, very good. What was your degree, Michael?
Music, but let's not talk about that. So there's a risk the deal won't close, is what that implies. And I know there are hedge funds and various other people that kind of bet on whether deals are going to close, these mergers. The whole concept of merger and risk arbitrage.
Yeah, I mean, if you were going to do that bet, then if you were much more confident, say, than the market was, so let's say you thought the probability was 95%, then you could do a kind of you could go long the one which is being taken over, and maybe short Tesla. I don't know how you do it, but maybe you could do some kind of arbitrage that way, or you could do it kind of market neutral, short the market, long the takeover target.
I saw that Warren Buffett in the Berkshire shareholder meeting just this weekend said they're doing something like that with Activision Blizzard, where Microsoft is buying Activision. Buffett thinks it's going to go through. He maybe has some knowledge of Microsoft. We won't talk about that. And so he basically
allegedly.
He basically says Microsoft has the money, it's going to go through. So he's bought a lot of stock of Activision Blizzard, like a significant amount, based on the idea that if and when that deal goes through, he'll make a profit.
Who does he play bridge with? I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Anyway.
Some guy called Bill. I mean, just looking at it, the current stock price, as I said, is 10% below the offer price, which is around 3 or 4 times more than you typically get with a takeover, where it's more like 2 or 3%. So I think the market is probably rightly saying, yeah, things can go wrong, or, maybe just Elon Musk could change his mind. Something else shiny could get his attention.
Given what happened with saying he was going to join the board, right? Or filing a regulatory filing saying that he was going to be a passive shareholder, and then a week later changing his mind and saying, oh no, I'm going to make an offer.
So obviously one reason it could fall through is Elon changing his mind, but maybe a more conventional reason would be finance falling through. And I think quite a significant amount of the money he's putting up to buy Twitter is coming effectively from a margin loan against his Tesla stock, over $12 billion worth. So, if Tesla, the stock really did tank, maybe that would be a problem for him.
And certainly the markets have been so jittery this year, huge mega caps falling by 21% overnight. That's a pretty scary market. So presumably Tesla could also fall quite sharply in the time it takes between now and the deal going through. So yeah, that could be a problem for his financing.
They probably wouldn't go through till the autumn or the fall if you're American. and Tesla is down 20% over the last month. That's not a problem. But if it kept falling, I couldn't see how he would still buy Twitter.
But then, of course, there'd be a price to pay for that. The breakup fee, various estimates, I've heard of this, but certainly over $1 billion, he'd probably be out of pocket by.
Is that not pocket change to him?
Yeah, I suppose, a lot of it for him is not financial. A lot of this is due to, I think he just likes the platform, so he can troll. That's what he uses Twitter for. So he could have more control over his trolly tweets.
It's an expensive way to get control over your tweets, though.
But why would he want to do it? I mean, it's not like he's not successful. He's created a company that can essentially, take us to Mars. He's solved the problem of how to land rockets and reduce the cost of launch, massively. Made us almost a multi-planetary species, or at least, the steps to do that. And then he's taken electric cars, which were a kind of niche thing, and turned it into something viable and kind of cool. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, I mean, it's not an engineering problem, is it? And yet his other two companies have done incredible things. So why would you want to do this now?
Well, is there zero chance that it's about the fact he thinks Twitter has genuine commercial potential and sees something in Twitter that other people don't?
Could he turn it around and make it more like... But it isn't an engineering problem, is it? It's a kind of social problem. It is the most social networky of social networky apps. So should someone who's not a particular...
That is. Quality analysis, Ramin, as always.
Yeah. Wordsmith me. But I mean, it is a kind of very kind of, I don't know, touchy-feely app. It's about discussing your opinions. And should someone who isn't great with social relationships be someone that's in charge of that platform? I'm not convinced that's going to be a good fit.
Yeah, he is one of the worst or most annoying tweeters on the Twitter platform already. So yeah. God knows how it will go. But I wouldn't rule out the fact that Twitter could be a commercial success story. It kind of is the place where news is broken first. And I would have thought there has to be a way to monetize it better than they're currently doing. So,
well, they're talking about monetizing tweets. So if you do, really popular tweet, then presumably that could generate cash. But I think that's going to make
things, haven't they? They've dabbled with newsletters through an acquisition. They, obviously do some marketing, but I don't think they fully exploited that. It just seems there's a huge opportunity to me around authenticating who's real, who's not, who's a bot. Getting people to pay in some way to get their opinions more widely spread. I think there's opportunities there.
I get in trouble with Laura if I make a tweet, if I spend too much time on Twitter, because, I use it for news a lot. And I think it's really useful.
GIFs, Ramin.
And I use it for GIFs. I love the dog tweets and I love the dog GIFs. I do like Scooby-Doo, But I think that the reason why she doesn't like it is because we can't monetize it. If I spend a lot of time on it, I could be spending time making videos on YouTube. So, that'd be a better use of my time. Or podcasts, which are immensely profit generating, as we know.
They will be. Give it time. We've done 15 episodes.
Yeah. But back to Twitter. That was so smooth. Other reasons for the breakup? Other reasons for the deal not to go through? I mean, what are they?
I mean, I guess the one thing you hinted at, like Musk is a controversial personality. Twitter is, I guess, a systemically important platform at the moment with news. Will the regulators get involved and say, are you really the person to own this?
And what is free speech? I mean, if you incite violence, clearly, that's not a good aspect of free speech. So I think he's clearly going to have to be in line with the law. He said himself that's the kind of limit of free speech.
It's true. I don't think a regulator will step in and stop him buying the platform. Certainly not in the US. Maybe the EU would try and do something, but I don't think so. I don't think that will be what stops the deal going through.
And the shareholders are going to go through with it because of the money, and so will the board because of the money.
Yeah, so there's not a lot to stop it going through. I don't see another offer coming in and outbidding Musk for this.
But market volatility, I'd say that's probably the most likely thing. Twitter's share price tanking doesn't really affect it, but kind of does. And certainly Tesla's share price, as we discussed, will make a big difference. So I'd say that's probably the most likely cause. And it just seems to me this is a kind of strange time for a big merger to go through, or a big takeover. I mean, normally when you're issuing new stock, or if you're doing an M&A, you would do it during the good times, when cost of funding is low, staying low. Whereas at the moment, we're undergoing this regime shift with the Fed. Markets are extremely volatile. We've seen these massive stock price moves intraday. I don't really understand about the timing. I don't know if this is going to be, probably the last chance saloon for a big takeover in this kind of environment.
Yeah, I think that's right. It does seem odd. Why now, right? With Musk, what set him off on this mission?
I think someone actually tweeted, "You should buy the platform," and then he replied, "How much is it?" So I bet they're kicking themselves
everything
now.
For the lols, right? It's just all trolling. That's the world.
It does
now.
seem like a side quest. It's like he's playing a game, and this is just like a game of Zelda, and he's just doing a side quest, which is quite tedious for everyone else.
But you don't want to get killed on a side quest, though, Ramin. When the main mission is there, get to Mars.
And I think that's what upsets the people who are his big supporters, which is, it's going to distract him from running those really important companies.
I would be annoyed if I was a Tesla shareholder, and I guess I am through an index fund in a way.
Which is probably one of the reasons why the share price has gone down. People think he's going to take his eye off the ball to some extent.
And he's been selling a lot of Tesla stock, presumably to fund this deal.
But how does he find the time for it? I mean, how can someone run two huge corporations at the same time as buying a social media platform? And he's not a hands-off person. He's a kind of nano manager. So, how will he find time to do it? I don't really like the fact he's doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, and he also seems to just pick fights where it's not really needed. Some of it comes through Twitter, right? Where I saw he got into a fight with AOC where he kind of owned him, actually. Did you see that? She said something about billionaires shouldn't own these platforms, and he said, "Oh, stop flirting with me" or something, and she just goes, "I was talking about Zuckerberg."
That was brilliant. Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. So I think he does make a fool of himself there. But
he gets into trouble with the SEC, right? It's not just fun and games.
Yeah, the famous tweet was the one about funding secured, right? Which, of course, it wasn't. That's
what people thought this time, right? He kind of made this proposal without funding secured, and then a week later came up with funding from various sources.
So it may be the case that lots of investment banks end up owning a big chunk of those companies, if there is some kind of hiccup.
Here's the thing, though, Ramin. He's the richest man in the world. He's not stupid. There's something going on here, which I think he probably sees that we don't, right? I can't believe he's just going to be burning tens of millions of dollars on something where he doesn't genuinely believe in it. For all the jokes about trolling. I don't think so. I don't think so. If I had to guess, I would think he sees an opportunity. He wants to buy it, force through some changes, cut costs, change their commercial model, and then probably refloat the company in 3 to 5 years' time. And I could see a Musk company going public. Only Tesla's done it so far. Another one going public. And, he has so many supporters, if I'm putting it generously, who I think would probably, drink the Kool-Aid and buy it at a high price.
Yeah, he's got a huge following. And so, yeah, maybe this is all it's going to take to make Twitter more successful.
Twitter has a huge audience and pretty big engagement, but it doesn't make much money, right? If you could work that out, then it would be a good investment.
Yeah, I think some people kind of just are worried about the way the platform's going to move now that, he's going to be less strict about what can and can't be said. Because a lot of people, I know people who've got a lot of hate comments made against them on Twitter. So there's the worry that, somehow that's going to come back and become more acceptable. So let's just hope that
about
doesn't.
Yourself here, aren't you?
Yeah, I've had a death threat on Twitter, which is pretty odd.
Oh man, have you got security and everything now?
Yeah. The security guards are just outside now. Actually, in fact, That's what I'm listening to with this earphone. They're just telling me to evacuate the room immediately.
It was weird, doing this on video with you. We usually just do audio, and just seeing the process of hair and makeup you go through to get ready for these recordings. It's an elaborate process, everyone.
Yeah, I don't wake up looking like this, obviously.
No.
So anyway, I think it's an interesting thing. It's going to be a drama. You can bet it's going to be a drama if Elon's involved. Maybe we should ask people about what they think in the comments. Tell us what you think about the takeover and why you think it's happening and whether it'll go ahead. We'd be interested to hear.
Yeah, and don't leave us any death threats.
But no death threats, yeah. Anyway, so do listen to our podcast. Many happy returns. Please do subscribe to us.
Award-winning podcast.
Are we?
Eventually we will be.
We will eventually. Award secured. That's what we should say.
Yeah. No funding though. If anyone wants to fund us,
funding would be good. So yeah, please do subscribe to Many Happy Returns. Subscribe to our channel, our YouTube channel, PensionCraft, and as always, thank you for watching and listening.
Thank you.